When you think of radio masts or transmitter towers, usually the steel-framed or lattice designs are the first that spring to mind. These are the most commonly used, but this is one of the 14 BT towers that incorporates steel-reinforced concrete. 7 of the 14 towers are similar in appearance and design. In fact, they are almost identical except for their heights, which vary considerably. They are known as the Chilterns type tower, after the one located in the Chiltern Hills, Stokenchurch. This is Heaton Park BT Tower. It's a 238 foot or 72.5 metre tall telecommunications tower at Heaton Park in Manchester. The reason I started to put this video together is because it's actually no longer 238 feet tall. Very recently it lost its top section, which I happened to notice from the motorway, so decided to take a closer look. The top section was in poor shape, so it has likely been removed for health and safety reasons. I was hoping it'd be laying the grounds of the BT compound, but it didn't appear to be anywhere. The tower is hollow inside and has 4 platforms on the top section, which enable engineers to make changes to the equipment on each level. These platforms allowed for many antennas and microwave dishes and horns to be supported high up in the tower, and each platform has a door leading back inside the structure itself. The tower doesn't have an internal lift, so workers have to climb up it internally and winch equipment up both internally and externally. Initially, the site served 2 purposes. Firstly, as a connection serving Manchester on the main north-south route for television links for BBC and ITA. And secondly, as a local link to the Emley Moor television transmitter in Yorkshire, which carried the Granada ATV service until mid-1968. Now, these sites are extremely important because during the Cold War, the British government set out plans for a proposed communications network that could survive a nuclear attack. Fortunately, this was never tested, but it was planned that radio and telephone sites, including the Heaton Park Tower, would maintain national and international communications before, during and after a nuclear attack. This would have been done by transmitting microwave signals as part of a national network known as backbone. This was needed as normal telephone cables that ran through the country's major cities were extremely vulnerable to nuclear attack. Each of the 14 towers had to be within view of the last one in the chain, literally, as microwaves don't travel well through obstructions. The original system ran in a line-of-sight path from south to north in this order. First was Tring in Hertfordshire, Charwelton in Northamptonshire, Pye Green in Staffordshire, and Sutton Common on the Cheshire and Staffordshire border at Macclesfield. Next was Heaton Park, then Saddleworth in Greater Manchester, Hunterstones in Skipton, North Yorkshire, Azerley in Yorkshire, and Richmond also in Yorkshire. And then further north to Muggleswick in County Durham, Coldfell in Cumbria, Lockerbie in Dumfries, Green Lowther in Dumfries, and finally Kirkoshots in Lanarkshire. Heaton Park's first public mention was in the 1965 Defence White Paper, where it was described as part of the backbone network, but the idea was conceived during 1956. Throughout the planning process, the British government denied that there was anything secretive about the tower or its function. Now, interestingly, and some of you may already know this, the backbone system actually bypassed Heaton Park, running directly between Sutton Common and Saddleworth, known as Windy Hill. This route operated at 6 GHz initially, but was later reallocated to 2 GHz. This was to remove a conflict between 6 GHz television links between Manchester and Leeds for Yorkshire TV and BBC Two transmissions from Emley Moor. So this is an almost identical tower of the same height over on Croker Hill, just outside Macclesfield, close to the Staffordshire border. Sutton Common Tower was actually part of the backbone network and is in visible line of sight between Heaton Park and Saddleworth to the north, and Pye Green seen here in chillier times to the south in Staffordshire. Sutton Common's high-up location means it's a more viable communication solution today. It's still home to both analogue and DAB aerials as well as PMR, emergency services and mobile phone systems. Heaton Park, on the other hand, well, its location makes it less desirable for new and existing customers. Croker Hill was to become home to a wind farm, but concerns over interference to radio systems at the tower meant that this plan was abandoned. In the 1990s, the UK's defensive communications switched largely to satellite systems, rendering backbone redundant for defence purposes. However, the towers are still in use for mobile phone communications and two-way radio systems, to name just a couple. The clean-up on Heaton Park Tower started in the mid-2000s, and this, as well as the other towers, seem to be less and less populated with antennas as the years go by. And finally, this site was also home to Prestwich Royal Observer Corps nuclear bunker until the mid-1990s, and even more interestingly, the home of Heaton Park Police Wireless Station, which really paved the way for police communications in the UK. And I'll link that video below.